Welcome to Wonderslate. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. Topic for today's video is Nationalism in India. Nationalism in India. This chapter included the First World War, Khilafat, and non-cooperation, differing strands within the movement towards civil disobedience, the sense of collective belonging. The First World War, Khilafat, and non-cooperation. First of all, the war created a new economic and political situation. It led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by war loans and increasing taxes. Customs duties were raised and income tax introduced. The idea of Satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915. He had come from South Africa, where he had successfully fought the racist regime with a novel method of mass agitation, which he called Satyagraha. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized Satyagraha movements in various places. In 1916 he travelled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. Then in 1917, he organized a satyagraha to support the peasants of the Khera district of Gujarat. In 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad to organize a satyagraha movement amongst cotton mill workers. The Rowlatt Act. Gandhiji in 1919 decided to launch a nationwide satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act. This act had been hurriedly passed through the Imperial Legislative Council despite the united opposition of the Indian members. Why non-cooperation? In 1909 Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of Indians, and had survived only because of this cooperation. If Indians refused to cooperate, British rule in India would collapse within a year, and Swaraj would come. The Congress session at Nagpur in December 1920, a compromise was worked out and the non-cooperation program was adopted. Differing strands within the movement. The non-cooperation Khilafat movement began in January 1921. Various social groups participated in this movement, each with its own specific aspiration. All of them responded to the call of Swaraj. The movement in the towns. The movement started with middle-class participation in the cities. Thousands of students left government-controlled schools and colleges, headmasters and teachers resigned, and lawyers gave up their legal practices. The import of foreign cloth halved between 1921 and 1922, its value dropping from 102 crore to 57 crore. In many places merchants and traders refused to trade in foreign goods or finance foreign trade. But this movement in the cities gradually slowed down for a variety of reasons. Khadi cloth was often more expensive than mass-produced mill cloth and poor people could not afford to buy it. Rebellion in the countryside. From the cities, the non-cooperation movement spread to the countryside. The Gudem rebels attacked police stations, attempted to kill British officials and carried on guerrilla warfare for achieving Swaraj. Raju was captured and executed in 1924, and over time became a folk hero. Swaraj in the plantations. Workers too had their own understanding of Mahatma Gandhi and the notion of Swaraj. For plantation workers in Assam, freedom. Gandhiji's name and raised slogans demanding Swatantra Bharat. They were also emotionally relating to an all-India agitation. When they acted in the name of Mahatma Gandhi, or linked their movement to that of the Congress, they were identifying with a movement which went beyond the limits of their immediate locality. Towards civil disobedience. In February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. Agricultural prices began to fall from 1926 and collapsed after 1930. As the demand for agricultural goods fell and exports declined, peasants found it difficult to sell their harvests and pay their revenue. By 1930, the countryside was in turmoil. When the Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with the slogan "Go back Simon." All parties, including the Congress and the Muslim League, participated in the demonstrations. In December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Lahore Congress formalized the demand of Purna Swaraj or full independence for India. It was declared that the 26th of January 1930 would be celebrated as the Independence Day. The Salt March and the Civil Disobedience Movement. Mahatma Gandhi found in salt a powerful symbol that could unite the nation. On the 31st of January 1930, he sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin stating 11 demands. The volunteers walked for 24 days, about 10 miles a day. Thousands came to hear Mahatma Gandhi wherever he stopped, and he told them what he meant by Swaraj and urged them to peacefully defy the British. On the 6th of April he reached Dandi, and ceremonially violated the law, manufacturing salt by boiling sea water. How participants saw the movement: civil disobedience movement, organizing their communities, and at times forcing reluctant members to participate in the boycott programs. For them the fight for Swaraj was a struggle against high revenues. But they were deeply disappointed when the movement was called off in 1931 without the revenue rates being revised. So when the movement was restarted in 1932, many of them refused to participate. To organize business interests, they formed the Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress in 1920 and the Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries FICCI in 1927. In 1930, thousands of workers in Chotanagpur tin mines wore Gandhi caps and participated in protest rallies and boycott campaigns. But the Congress was reluctant to include workers' demands as part of its program of struggle. The limits of civil disobedience. Dalit participation in the civil disobedience movement was therefore limited, particularly in the Maharashtra and Nagpur region where their organization was quite strong. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who organized the Dalits into the Depressed Classes Association in 1930, clashed with Mahatma Gandhi at the Second Round Table Conference by demanding separate electorates for Dalits. When the British government conceded Ambedkar's demand, Gandhiji began a fast unto death. He believed that separate electorates for Dalits would slow down the process of their integration into society. Ambedkar ultimately accepted Gandhiji's position and the result was the Pune Pact of September 1932. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, one of the leaders of the Muslim League, was willing to give up the demand for separate electorates if Muslims were assured reserved seats in the Central Assembly and representation in proportion to population in the Muslim-dominated provinces Bengal and Punjab. Negotiations over the question of representation continued, but all hope of resolving the issue at the All-Parties Conference in 1928 disappeared when M.R. Jaikarya of the Hindu Mahasabha strongly opposed efforts at compromise. The sense of collective belonging. This sense of collective belonging came partly through the experience of united struggles. But there were also a variety of cultural processes through which nationalism captured people's imagination. History and fiction, folklore and songs, popular prints and symbols, all played a part in the making of nationalism. It was in the 20th century, with the growth of nationalism, that the identity of India came to be visually associated with the image of Bharat Mata. The image was first created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. In the 1870 he wrote Vande Mataram as a hymn to the motherland. Later it was included in his novel Anand Madand, widely sung during the Swadeshi movement in Bengal. Moved by the Swadeshi movement, Abanindranath Tagore painted his famous image of Bharat Mata. In Madras, Natesa Shastri published a massive 4-volume collection of Tamil folk tales, the folklore of southern India. He believed that folklore was national literature. It was the most trustworthy manifestation of people's real thoughts and characteristics. We are discussed about nationalism in India, the First World War, Khilafat and non-cooperation. First of all, the war created a new economic and political situation. The idea of satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915. Mahatma Gandhi organized satyagraha movements in various places. The Rowlatt Act, Gandhiji in 1919 launched a nationwide satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act. Why non-cooperation? In 1909, Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India. The Congress at Nagpur in December 1920, non-cooperation program was adopted. Differing strands within the movement, the non-cooperation Khilafat movement began in January 1921. The movement in the towns, the foreign cloth halved between 1921 and 1922. Khadi cloth was often more expensive than mass-produced mill cloth. Rebellion in the countryside, non-cooperation movement spread to the countryside. Raju was captured and executed in 1924, and over time became a folk hero. Swaraj in the plantations, Mahatma Gandhi and the notion of Swaraj. Gandhiji's name and raised slogans demanding Swatantra Bharat and towards civil disobedience. In 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. Agricultural prices began to fall from 1926 and collapsed after 1930. The Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928. Purana Swaraj or full independence for India. It was declared that the 26th of January 1930. The Salt March and the civil disobedience movement. Mahatma Gandhi found in Salt powerful on the 31st of January 1930. On the 6th of April he reached Dandi and ceremonially violated the law. In December 1931, Gandhiji went to London for the conference. How participants saw the movement. The civil disobedience movement, organizing their communities. The movement was restarted in 1932. Many of them refused to participate. Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries FICCI in 1927. In 1930, workers in Chotanagpur tin mines wore Gandhi caps and participated in rallies. The limits of civil disobedience. Dalit participation in the civil disobedience movement. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar organized the Dalits into the Depressed Classes Association in 1930. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was leaders of the Muslim League, willing to give up the demand for separate electorates. And the sense of collective belonging. This sense of collective belonging came partly through the experience of united struggles. The image was first created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Abanindranath Tagore painted his famous image of Bharat Mata. In Madras, Natesa Shastri published a massive 4-volume collection of Tamil folk tales, the folklore of southern India. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any suggestion for us, feel free to leave comments. If you liked the video and want to see more of it, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to click on subscribe button to get more updates of the future videos.